Hello, hello, good afternoon, everybody. I'm so delighted to have you here with me today. So this is coming from my brand new laptop. Thank you very much, Mr. York, for purchasing this for me. It has a camera that works, which means I can use this instead of my tablet, which was a little bit clumsy and clunky. So today I'm going to be talking to you about keeping your identity whilst you've been given a diagnosis of cancer. It's all too easy to get lost in the system that either the NHS or whether you're overseas, the system that is put in around you, that protective bubble that you get put into when you're given the cancer diagnosis. I know for me, back in 2017, it was like from the moment of the actual seeing the consultant, I was then on the conveyor belt, on the system, in the system, and feeling almost like I'd lost me, lost my identity, and lost a level of control. So today I want to talk to you about how do you get that back? And did you ever lose it in the first place? So how do you get it back? Sometimes it's about realizing that your identity belongs to you. It might look like you're just a number in the system. You're the next person in line with the cancer treatment, the cancer diagnosis. You're the next person in line to see consultant X or surgeon Y. And to a certain extent, you have to be, because otherwise the system would fall apart. But within all of that craziness that happens around the diagnosis, you're still a person, you're still a human being, but moreover, you're still a spiritual being. So even in the darkest of times, when the treatment's not going so well, when you're feeling like, how much more of this can I take? It's about finding that inner piece of you that was never touched, never damaged, and never broken in the first place. And we all have it. And we all connect to it in different ways. Some of us may have religious beliefs, in which case you tap into it when you're speaking to your religious deity, your God, your whatever. Some of us just do it in the darkest of times, and you go back inside yourself and you reconnect automatically. It's that little still quiet voice inside your head that goes, you're going to be okay today. This too shall pass, and you'll be just fine. So I remember sitting in the consultant's waiting room, waiting for the actual initial diagnosis, and I had no idea what he was going to say. But I was sat there and I observed all of these predominantly women in the room that were waiting on either an initial mammogram, or they were waiting to have some kind of follow-up treatment, or like me, a consultation with a consultant. And there was a whole myriad of expressions on faces and worried discussions that were going on between whoever they had brought with them. And I just sat and I observed, and I thought, how can I help even one of these people? How can I help? So after the diagnosis, I left the consulting room and I wandered out into the bright sunshine, because it was the 22nd of June, so just over 2 years ago now. And I sat. I hadn't gone into freefall, I hadn't gone into panic, but on some level I was reconnecting to that inner part of me that I'm trying to explain to you how to connect to. Because there's no doing in this, there's no 3-step, 5-step, 7-step process that I can give you that will allow you to go back in to finding the true essence of who you are. I can point you to it. But actually, you already know. And because you already know, it's really straightforward. It's really, really simple. But you've got to stop the chatter in your head to allow that still quiet voice to come through and to help you, to really help you. And it's that still quiet voice that will give you the greatest benefit, the greatest support mechanism that you could ever wish for. And it's already within you. If any of this resonates with you, I'd be delighted to have another conversation with somebody. If any of this resonates with you and you think, whoa, I hadn't thought of it that way, I'd be delighted to have a conversation with you. If you're listening to this and going, this woman's just purple woo-woo, look at her hair for a start off, why am I listening to a woman with purple hair? I'd like to have a conversation with you too, because I think there's measure in all of this. In any walk of life, in any aspect of whether you're going through cancer treatment, you're a hand holder for a cancer patient, or whether you've just dropped into this conversation and you're nothing to do with cancer, but there's something going on for you that you'd like a little bit of help with, I'd be delighted to speak to you too. So other things that are going on in my world, some of you are aware that I'm endeavouring to sell my house here in the UK so that I can relocate to Spain. There are a fabulous couple that are coming back on, well, tomorrow morning actually, for their second viewing, and hopefully, fingers crossed, there'll be a reasonable offer that we can accept and we can start the process. But the reason I mention this is that I've just released my retreat dates for the latter half of 2019 and for the majority of 2020. And they will be based in Spain because that's where I'm going to be resident from that point onwards. So if you're interested, you can hop on to my website, maureenyork.com, and go to the retreats page, and you'll see the list of dates. There's not enough lot of blurb on there. It's just really giving you a heads up about the dates. If you're interested in that, I'd invite you to have a look at that. And if you are interested in any of them, you can drop me a note at retreats@maureenyork.com, and I'd be delighted to have a conversation with you around it. If anybody listening to this on any level would like to follow up with a further conversation, drop me a note. You can get hold of my calendar at maureenyorkconversation.com. That takes you straight to my calendar and we can book in a conversation. I'd be delighted to speak to you. But what I would like to leave you with today, because this is only going to be a short conversation today, what I'd like to leave you with is that you're okay no matter what's going on for you. No matter what, whether it's cancer, whether it's some other major crisis that's going on in your world. It might seem like your world has been tipped on its head and you can't think straight. I talk about people having a glitter ball or a snow globe implanted in their brain. And sometimes we shake it violently, sometimes just a little. And sometimes when we let it settle, in that still quiet moments in the night, you let that just settle to the bottom. You get an insight, you get an understanding as to how you could best move forward for you, because it won't be the same for everybody. It's understanding that you are in control, you are in charge of your own snow globe. Stop shaking it from time to time and see what occurs for you. So on that note, I'd like to thank you all for joining me today, and I look forward to speaking to you next week. Bye for now.